Good morning. Hi, this is scienceknitster, Deborah, and this is a podcast about mainly about cross stitch, stitching, but a little bit of knitting and sometimes some spinning and sometimes some weaving. And I'd just like to say welcome or welcome back. It's been about a month since I last recorded, and I actually have more to show than I thought I would. I haven't had a lot of time for various reasons. I haven't had a lot of time for stitching this past month. First, we were finishing up, in early July, we were finishing up our first summer session. I had I'm a department chair at a college in the Rio Grande Valley. And so I had some department chair things to do. And then I had a work-related workshop to go to, which was really fun, but very intense. It's to help us establish a course-based research program at our college called CPhages, where students will be, this is the sciencey part of, of the podcast, sorry. Sorry, not sorry, but will help us establish a course-based research program at our college that's based on students discovering new what are called bacteriophages, which are viruses that infect bacteria. No worries, they can't infect us. They can only infect bacterial cells. And actually, it's a good thing because these phages might be able to be used to combat antibiotic-resistant strains of bacteria. So part of the research is to understand the relationships of these different viruses, the evolutionary relationships, genetic relationships of these different viruses. And but the more practical part is to try to find viruses that can be used to combat antibiotic-resistant bacteria. And a few that the program has discovered. This is an international program supported by the Howard Hughes Medical Institute. They've actually had some trials where it has successfully worked from some viruses that the program has found. So that's pretty exciting. Anyway, that was very intense. I did bring some stitching and some spinning with me, but I think I just did a little, put in 2 or 3 stitches one night. We had homework every night, and but it was good. It was good. Don't get me wrong. It was wonderful. Totally did science geek out that week, but unfortunately, we had a death in the family. Right after I returned, so we had to unexpectedly travel to my in-laws. So there's been that. And yeah, I've just been now busy getting ready for the fall semester at my school. But I have did manage to take a little time off. And I did manage to do a little stitching this past month. So first, let me show you a new finish. I have one finish and one new start, and then everything else are whips. Works in progress. Okay, so I finished a Bluebird Salute by Luminous Fiber Arts, Misty Purcell. And I had started this around June 1st for Colorado Stitchers summer cross stitch camp. Trying to remember. Oh, and I forgot to tell you what I'm drinking. I have iced green tea latte that I made myself. I buy a matcha from Amazon. I used to get it at Target locally, but then they stopped carrying it, and I found it on Amazon, so I have it on auto ship because I usually have hot green tea latte for breakfast during the week. And I actually have this in a cup or glass. Hill Country Weavers retreat, knitting in the hills getaway from 2014 from a retreat that I not only went to, but I actually taught a class on how to use a knitting app called Knit Companion. Sorry about that. I'm a little out of practice, I guess. So I'm actually stitching this on the same piece of linen, just because it's easier to hold a somewhat larger piece than a teeny tiny piece that I've already stitched to other bird related, season related, holiday related things that she has. And I'm gonna finish these all into pillows. There's one more that I want to do. I'm just trying to decide, do I want to do a fall one or a Christmas one? Because I don't think, because of the way I place these, I don't think I can fit another one on. I might be able to fit a fifth one down here. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of play with it. But anyway, so the one that I finished most recently is this one. So the goal was to finish it in June for the summer cross stitch camp, but I missed it by that much. For those of you that are as old as I am, you probably got that reference. It's from an old TV show. And if you're American, sorry to my non-American viewers. It was from Get Smart. It was an old show from the late 60s, I think. Most of the males in my family are very enamored of the show, and my husband, courtesy of my father, has the full DVD collection. Thanks, Dad. Actually, it's kind of fun. It's very campy and funny. It was a Mel Brooks thing, so it's very funny. But anyway, I keep having these segues. Bear with me, folks. It's going to be one of those. So here it is. If I recall correctly, let me take a peek here. Got my notes. I think I did do some subbing. I mostly used the called for. No, that's the wrong one. But I think I did sub a few colors. Now I can't find my notes, of course. Oh, here we go. Did I sub? The only sub I made, it looks like, was I didn't have any Weeks Dye Works Tiger's Eye. I was trying to stitch from Stitch because I didn't have time to go to the store. And I wanted to get going. So I subbed in Gentle Arts Taki. So that would be this one here. I think I looked up the DNC and then tried to find the Gentle Arts equivalent. But anyway, so that was finished in early July before I left on my workshop. I think I actually might have finished it like 4th of July weekend after I recorded, of course. I finished it. No, I didn't. Did I? I might have finished it on the 4th of July, actually, or the day after. I can't remember. But I actually could tell you if I could find, I don't know where it is now, but I could tell you if I could find my calendar, which is here somewhere, but yes, like I said, bear with me. It's going to be one of those days. Okay, I also had a new start. So my new start is, what is it? Summerlicious. It's a old Boxer Junior. Sorry, this is out of print, I believe. By Lizzie Kate from Deep Stash. I've already done the spring one, and I've had the winter one done for quite a few years. So I was like, I need to get the rest of these done. Those of you who've been watching for a while may have caught on that I get sucked into like seasonal and calendar things very easily. So I bought all these. I just haven't stitched them all yet. So these are like little kits. It comes with the fabric. You have to supply the threads. Here are my threads. I'm using all the called for. And I just have a very small start. I forget when I started this. And I could tell you if I could find my little calendar book, which has to be here somewhere. I just don't know where I put it. I had it a minute ago before I started this video. I have the Needlework Press calendar book thingy, whatever you call it. Anyway, so there's my little start. That might be a little bit easier to see. I just started the little watermelon. Well, maybe I'll work on this weekend. What's left of the weekend. I was recently going through some of my whips. that the right one? That might not be the right one. I actually have, I have two different things kitted here. No, that's the right one. Okay, yeah, that's the right one. I have another thing in the same bag that's summer related that I haven't started yet. So, I forget what I was going to say. Anyway, yeah, I'm using all the called for threads, and then this kit, it also comes with the little buttons. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see the two bees there, or three bees have their wings are actually these little button company buttons. What are they called? Tiny white buttons. And the linen that comes in the kit, in this particular kit, was 25 count flax. So that's a 25 count linen. I think all of them, I'm not sure all of them were on flax, but all of them were on 25 count. So that's my finish and my new start. And what have I been working on? In no particular order. Actually, let me do this one first. So I have been working on, off and on. I started this late May, early June, and I should have it done by now, but like I said, very little stitching. This is one of the Barbara Anna animals in a dress. So this is the bird in the dress. And this is called Strawberry Time, and it's in the, let me get the right year here. The 2019 summer issue of Punch, Needle, and Primitive Stitcher. And you can still get these digitally, at least, if your shop doesn't have the physical copy anymore. But yeah. So, very cute. I have several of these. Again, I like sort of seasonal things. So I'm hoping to get this done before summer's over, so I can at least put it up for a little bit. Okay. Okay, so then around the 4th of July, the other thing I worked on, was it around? I can't remember. I think I showed these last time, these little, forgot what Susan called. My friend Susan is making a bunch of these, and she gave me, because she has the fabric, she made a bunch of these and gave me some thread bed. I can't remember what she called them. Whatever you call these little things that you can put your threads in, and they stick there. Very handy. Anyway, so this is A Stitch for Sweet Freedom by Lindy Stitches. Lindy Stitches? Yeah, Lindy Stitches. I'm using mainly the called for threads. I am doing, the fabric I'm using is 40 count periwinkle, I believe. And I can't remember if it's a Lakeside or an R&R. I think it's a Lakeside. And I should have looked that up, because I have it written in my, all that information in my stitching app that I use. But that's as far as I got. I actually, let's see, I finished this. I started putting in these. I finished this star, and I started working the background. It's a little hard. I'm at our, for those of you that have been watching already know this, but for new folks, I'm at our house in Corpus Christi in Texas, and I actually work in Brownsville, Texas, which is 2.5 hours away. So I have an apartment there. Excuse me. And it's a little hard for me to work on this here because the lighting isn't as good. All my good lighting is down in Brownsville, since I'm there most of the time. But so I doubt I'll work on this weekend, but I would like to. And then, oh, I think I interrupted myself. I was saying I was going through things. My local needlework shop, Judy Stitchery Nook. She's getting ready to sell and retire, and so she's having a big sale right now. And so I was like, oh, I should finish kitting up some things. So I wanted to finish kitting up His Eyes on the Sparrow by Heartstring Samplery. And so I had to find the pouch that I put it in. And I had some of the threads, and I had a note of, which threads I had already pulled and which ones I still needed to buy. So I found that, made a little list. But as I was going through things to find that, I was going through things that both I had kitted up and things that I had started. So some whips that I had, and I was like, oh, I want to stitch on that. Oh, I want to stitch on that. Oh, I want to... So I might have to get out some things that I haven't worked on in a while. I need to find some more work-life balance so I have more time for crafting. So that was fun to work on. I was hoping to get to the point where I could start the woman, but I didn't get that far. Life happened. Okay. The last few things I've been working on this past month. When did I start this? I started this a few months ago, I think. The Christmas cat. This is a Bent Creek that I've had forever. It was a little kit. Again, it had the fabric. What did it have? It had the fabric, and there's beads that you can't see, but there's the red are beads. So you just have to provide the threads, and that's what I did. And I actually made some good progress. I brought this with me when we went to visit my in-laws, and I actually had a little time to work on it. It's on a 30, oh, actually, this did not come with the linen. I provided the linen. It was the chart, so it's not really a kit. It's the chart and the beads is what it came with. I don't know if this is still available or not. I didn't look it up. But it's Bent Creek and they're still active, so maybe it is. So these are the threads that I'm using. I'm using all the called for except the yellow. I don't remember why I changed the yellow. I think I didn't have enough of it. It's supposed to be Gentle Arts Tarnished Gold, and I am using Weeks Dye Work Schneckly because I have a boatload of it. So let me show that again. So yeah, so these are my threads. So I have the top of the cat all done. I just need to put the beads in, which I'll do when I'm done with the rest so the threads don't catch. So I just need to finish the cat's body and put in the threads. So that's pretty exciting. That I could work on this weekend. I had pulled it out and the main reason this was the project that I brought with me to that work-related workshop, and put in like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 stitches one night and then fell asleep. But yeah. So I was gonna say, had decided it would be one of my Christmas in July things I would work on. I'd be sort of like doing unofficially Christmas in July. And then the other thing that I worked on, and I think I might have brought this with me, but then didn't work on it. But I worked on it when we came home. This is Bringing Home the Tree, which is a Pass the Stash from Andrea's Cautionary Tale. So it's a Lori Holt. And I'm actually stitching it on, what's it called? This color. It's a discontinued color. It was from Deep Stash. I've been stitching a long time, so I have some pretty old stuff. Trying to remember the color. I forget what the color is, but it's not white because I couldn't find my white Ada when I wanted to start this. But I found this, I'm like, oh, the red and the green would pop on that. And so I am stitching the things that are blue in white because the blue of the fabric is very close to that blue. It's like polar something, I forget, but it's a Charles Craft Ada 14 count that is discontinued. Trust me, I looked because I like this color, and I think you know, maybe even with like a little tea dye, make it look a little greener. And actually in real life it's slightly more aqua greeny than it's showing. Yeah, it's a little more, but anyway, like if you tea dyed it, it might look a little more green even. And there's a lot of sort of aqua things, like both Hands-On Design did her Christmas. I have a piece that I'm going to do her Christmas one that she released as a, well, I think it was like a mystery in last December. I haven't started it yet, but I will someday. But I'm going to do that. I might tea dye it first because the fabric she had was a little bit greener than this. Anyway, I think it would be cool to use on some of those things that that both she and Stitching with the Housewives, they've been doing a lot of stuff on a more aqua-y, similar to this, but more aqua-y shades. Anyway, I had looked for it, but no luck. It's no longer available. Which I guess is why you should buy things when they're available. If you can. Okay, one last thing. That's a whip. A whip that I worked on in the last month, I should say. And that is Bent Creek. I've been working on their Uber series. So I've before I even started FlossTube, I had finished the Valentine's one and March Shamrocks, St. Patrick's, the St. Patrick's themed one. And then I think shortly after I started, or right before I started doing floss tubes, I had finished the Easter themed one. So, and I also have the Halloween themed one going. Oh, and I also, even like way before I started FlossTube, I had finished the Thanksgiving theme, which is a big turkey. And I'm working on Uber Tree, which is their Christmas themed one. This year, I started they have like just plain winter that you could have out, like say like in January and February before you put out your Valentine's. They have a winter themed one. I can't remember what it's, Uber Snowman, I think it's called. The main part of it is a snowman. I don't remember what it's called. But here's Uber Flag. So this is obviously the 4th of July themed one. So this is on 18 count natural linen, and I don't have anything to hold behind this. Sorry for the see-through. I'm mainly using the called for. It's a mixture of, it's number 5 pearl cotton, and I don't have my threads arranged, so I can't like show you the threads, but I am completely using the called for threads. And all of these come, Weeks Dye Works, or at least they did. I think they still do make the number 5 pearl cotton. Do they? I think they do. Anyway, some of the others called for Gentle Arts, and Gentle Arts doesn't have a pearl cotton. And I kind of hate mixing pearl cotton and 6 strands of floss, regular floss. So I either subbed the DMC, or in most cases I subbed the closest, either Weeks Dye Works, or most of the time it was actually I want to say Crescent Colors, but it's not Crescent Colors anymore and hasn't been for a long time. You know what I mean? The other one that Crescent Colors became. And I don't think I have. Oh, actually, I might. I don't know why I'm having much trouble remembering things today. No, of course I don't have one on here. Oh well. It'll probably come to me after I finish recording. Okay. So that's the last of my whips, my cross-stitch whips. I do have a couple of purchases, couple of stash enhancements. One is the latest punch needle and primitive stitcher. Actually, so I got this at Judy's Stitchery Nook recently, yesterday. I stopped on my way to Corpus Christi. But I actually get this digitally, but I like this magazine so much, I get it both digitally and actual physically. Anyway, so I got this at Judy's, and even though I had already looked at it digitally, and she actually got these in a while ago, I just hadn't had it because of being out of town and everything. I hadn't had a chance to get over there. So there's that. And then I also purchased some threads for His Eyes on the Sparrow. And actually there was one thread I was missing for that Bringing Home the Tree. So I got that. So I got a big piece of, this is Weeks Dye Work Kudzu. And what did I buy this for? Because it's green. I bought it for this. A peacock, a unicorn, and a badger. I think the person who's either her FlossTube or her Instagram posts really prompted me to buy this. I'd been seeing it, both hers and other people, but Abby Bella Stitch, actually, I was like, okay, I got to get this because it is so pretty. But I'm not stitching all that green. So I'm still going to have to do like basically full coverage down here with the blue. Unless I find a blue and like piece them together. I don't know. That might just be too much for my brain to handle. But anyway, I decided to find a green that was very close to the color that was called for, which is DMC 936. And this is almost a perfect match. In fact, Kudzu, Weeks Dye Works Kudzu, I think if you put in any of those converter things, it'll tell you that Kudzu, Weeks Dye Works Kudzu, can be replaced by DMC 936. So, and if you, it doesn't quite seem to match. It seems lighter when you hold it up to the picture on the video, but if you look at it in real life, and you look at some DMC 936, it's a very close match. So, now this was actually stitched on 40 count, and I've seen some things, very nicely. Actually, I think it was, some people have stitched this on 40 count. I want to say that's screen stuff, but it's not screen stuff. I cannot remember anything today. Please bear with me. I'm sorry. Anyway, but it was this was stitched on 40 count linen, and I wanted to stitch it on 40 count linen, but Judy was having a sale, and what she had in stock was 36 count. This is a bit bigger than I need, but so this is a fat half, but a fat quarter would be too small. So I'm thinking the excess would be make some nice ornaments, Christmas ornaments. And actually Elaine in Judy's shops, like you could do it like in silver or gold thread. So I might find some like red work patterns, red sort of samplery patterns, smalls that, and maybe do them in gold instead on this. That would be for the little pieces that are left. Anyway, so next time I go into Judy's, which I hope will be soon, I hope there won't be such a long period, between visits this time, but I'm planning to get all the DMC. I know I probably have some of the colors, but I'd have to fish them out of other projects. So I've decided this is a special enough project. I'm just going to buy all the DMC for it. And for some of them, you need multiple skeins anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and buy all of them, except the DMC 936, because I don't have to stitch the background. At my age, too many other things I still want to stitch to spend time stitching all that background. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so I do actually have a few other stash enhancement things that I'm going to hold off to showing to my next video, because one was the sort of the surprise samplery thing that Kitten Stitcher had, and I think there might be people that may not have received theirs yet. I'm not sure, because like she had people overseas, so I don't want to spoil that for people. And then I also just received, and I think I forgot to mention that I started back in March. I was able to finally get into Lindy Stitch's Bird Club. My spouse is a big bird watcher. Actually, we both belong to the local Audubon Society. I just don't have time to do much bird watching, and actually don't enjoy it as much since I switched to no line bifocals. It's kind of hard to use binoculars with no line bifocals. But anyway, so I thought I would get those and stitch those first. Have I started any yet? No. But anyway, I just got the August one this week, like right before I left to come here. So, but I don't want to show it yet because I'm sure there's people that haven't received theirs yet, and I don't want to spoil it, just in case there's anybody watching that hasn't gotten theirs yet. So I'll show those next time. And there's my book of days, finally. Like, I knew I had it somewhere. Okay, let me just double check. I didn't forget something. Yeah, so I do have a little knitting and spinning to show you, but I think I'm going to hold off on that because I want to do a little designer focus. I think I've mentioned more than once since I've been floss tubing that I really love Brightneedle. And surprisingly, I didn't have a ton of their things in my stash for them being such, I mean, I really loved their stuff. And for some reason, I didn't collect as much as I thought I had. So I've been trying to collect it when things come up for sale. Like sometimes Carla at Cobweb Corner has some Brightneedle come in. And I've asked Judy to look through her stuff. Anyway, so I thought I'd show you, for those of you that don't know Brightneedle, I'll show you some of the Brightneedle things I have. And I just realized there was one thing I have that's actually in a book, one of those Christmas books that used to be put up of Better Homes and Gardens, and I forget who does them now, if they're even still doing them. Meredith Corporation is the publisher, I think, now. But anyway, those cross-stitch Christmas books, there's one that has one of their pieces in it. They're supposedly designing again, and they released some things this year, and I can't find them anywhere, and I meant to message them on Instagram and find out where I could purchase, because Judy couldn't find them to purchase them for me. Judy at Judy Stitching, my local LNS. So if y'all are Brightneedle fans and you know where to purchase, let me know, because I missed it. And they re-released some of their things, and I think like 2 or 3 of their old things, and I think they were things that I didn't have yet. And so I was like, oh. Okay. So I'm going to start with things that I'm actually working on. First, the thing that I've been working on most recently, and actually should have finished already, but I got sidetracked by work and other things I was stitching on. I definitely want to finish this by next May, which will be the my 40th anniversary of graduating from college. So that tells you how old I am. And this is the Finger Lake sampler. And why do I want to finish it by then? Because I went to college, undergraduate college, got my bachelor's at Wells College, which is in Aurora, New York, which is on Cayuga Lake, which is one of the Finger Lakes in upstate New York. So I am stitching this on, oh, what is this? It is, I believe it is Legacy Linen, which is made by, or at least it is distributed by Access Commodities. Corn tassel, which if I remember correctly is a 37 or 38 count linen. I'm using mainly the called for overdyed threads, but I've had to sub some things that I didn't have or that I thought didn't look quite right. Let's see, did I make some subs? Oh, actually I made a lot of subs. At some point I will post my subs because I made a lot of subs. But I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. And the personalization is supposed to be your initials in the year, but I think I've mentioned previously, so Wells is my college, and then I graduated in '83. So, and these are not my school colors. We also have a tradition at Wells called even odds, and I'm an odd because I graduated in an odd year, and the odd colors are purple and yellow. The evens are, I think, blue and green, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out. I still have a bit to do. I need to finish this part of the border and then do the grapes. So if you don't know, the Finger Lakes are a grape growing wine producing region, part of the wine producing region in upstate New York. Not the only one, but part of it. And I really love this because this house here sort of reminds me of the boathouse at my college. And the sailboat reminds me of sailing on Cayuga Lake. Took sailing lessons when I was in college. It was one of the athletic related courses you could take. I did, in order to get all the letters, I actually used the letters from another Brightneedle that I have in my stash set. This is one I got from Carla at Cobwood Corner, I believe, called Libby Q. So I actually used the lowercase letters, I believe. Did I use the lower? Yeah, I used the lowercase letters from this one because the Finger Lake sampler didn't have any lowercase letters. I didn't want to do Wells all in uppercase because it wouldn't have fit. Okay, so let me show you, since I've told you I did all these subs. Did I show you my threads? No. But here are my threads. It's a mixture of, is it all General Arts and Weeks Dye Works? Classic Color Works. I knew I had one somewhere. So Crescent Colors, many years ago, became Classic Color Works. So a couple Classic Color Works, but mostly General Arts and Weeks Dye Works. I just was pulling stuff from my stash. Some of the General Arts that I have are actually unnamed limited editions. I mean, they might have been named, but where I bought them from didn't put names on them. So I don't have names for them. Okay, so that's one. That took me a while to talk about. That's one of my Brightneedle whips. Okay, and then one that I started not long after we were all in lockdown for COVID. I started this in May of 2020. Under the Sea. I am using pretty much all the called for. So, am I using? I think I'm not using the called for linen because I couldn't find it. And I subbed it with something else. It calls for. Right. I'm using all the called for threads except the anchor. I subbed the DMC because I didn't have the anchor in my stash. But all the others I'm using the called for, including the Krynic and everything. And this was stitched on Americana Blend R&R. It's just a like sort of nice paley bluey green. And I couldn't find that, so I subbed. Is the sticker still on this? Of course it's not. Oh, because I cut it. I subbed a Zweigart or a Witchelt. I can't remember which. That looked similar. It's a little bit darker. I'm trying to remember. Sea Lily, maybe? And this is a 32 count. Theirs was actually stitched over one. I'm stitching over two. I can handle stitching over one on like 25 and 28, especially if it's an even weave. But I decided I didn't want to try to stitch over one on 32. Not for the whole design. No, short bits I can handle, but not for the whole design. Okay, then the other thing that I started, one that I had been wanting to start like forever, and I had kitted up, probably, let's see, when did I probably buy this? I probably bought this, when did it come out? So this is called the Sweet Summer Sampler. Let me show that again. So it's sunflowers and some letters. Shoot. I don't see a copyright date on this thing. Am I just missing it? Oh, 2001. I'm trying to remember when I would have bought the silk for. So this, the called for are, I don't have these nicely arranged, so I'm just going to show you one of them. They're the Silken Colors by the Thread Gatherer Silken Colors. Beautiful variegated threads. And so I kitted this up once upon a time with the called for silk. And I started it. And I think, did I start taking this out or did I just restart it? I restarted. I had to restart because, let's see. I had to restart because I realized I was using the wrong color. And I can't remember if this, I'm still in the process of pulling this out. I think I might still be in the process of pulling this out. I have some more of this. I think I thought about just restarting on another piece and then pulling this out later. Yeah, that looks like the wrong color. Anyway, so I kind of put this one away, but it's beautiful. And I've actually picked up, for some reason, I don't know if I didn't realize it was a whole seasonal set, but it is, and I didn't pick up the rest of them, which is really strange for me. So I must not have realized there was a whole set. But I recently was able, or in the last year or so, I was able to pick up another one from Carla, I believe. Okay, and then I have one kitted up that I actually haven't started yet. This one I am planning to stitch over one. Again, that one is over two, even though the model is stitched over one. And that is Friendship. And I'm going to stitch it on 27 count Linda. That's the type of fabric. And the color is Sparrow and is a Luminous Fiber Arts. I am planning to use the called for threads, although it does call for, it calls for a Needle Necessities that I am going to, and some anchor, which if I have it, I'll use it. If I don't, I'll sub the DMC. And then Needle Necessities, I will sub with the Threadworks, because Needle Necessities became Threadworks. I just need, and I know I have, oh, that's when okay. I need to write down, I'm keeping this one out. So I write down that. Because one of the reasons I hadn't started it yet is I hadn't got the Threadworks color yet. So I need to do that. Okay, What else have I got? Well, I even like to pull out stuff about Brightneedle from magazines. And that was from an old Just Cross Stitch that I got physically, but I also probably, yeah, I'm sure I have this digitally now too, because I have the whole CD collection. But in that same issue, that article about them, there was this cute little mama bird and babies. Isn't that cute? I almost started this last year. That's why it got pulled out. So I was thinking about starting it. And I'm thinking I might even have bought linen for this. I don't know. The called for is a 35 count linen from the Heart's Content. Natural. Okay. You guys want to watch me put this back in? No, I will do that later. Okay, so the rest is just charts that I have. I think I have these in alphabetical order. This is Blue Dog Sampler. That's really cute. This is Evergreen Sampler. It's probably not one of my favorite of theirs. It's basically green and brown. Hello, Fortuna. My cat is exploring the stuff that I put on the floor. This one is one I've really wanted to stitch like forever. It's called Needle Workshop. Is that not cool? I don't know why I haven't started this one yet. Because every time I bring it out, I'm like, oh, I want to start that one. Oh, they call for a lot of, I wonder if that's why. It calls for a lot of anchor that they have not converted. They don't give you the DMC conversion. So I do have some anchor, but not a whole lot. Oh, this one's really cute. The Sampler. That one's really cute. And then Something Blue. A couple of these I got, somebody had them for sale on Etsy. But most of them I got from Carla. The ones I didn't already have, I got from Carla. Some of these I already had. This is not one that I already had. This is the winter, the winter, Sweet Winter. So that we had Sweet Summer, Sweet Winter. So I need to fall, I think it's called Sweet Autumn and Sweet Spring, I believe. I think there was all four I saw somewhere. Now I'm doubting myself. Maybe I didn't buy them because one season was missing. I hate when that happens, when they don't do all four seasons. Why, I don't know, but I do. And these two I definitely had in my stash. I think I may have had one of the other ones. I think Friendship may have already been in my stash. But the rest of these are relatively recent purchases. This is Welcome. It's another one I've been thinking about stitching for a very long time. Yeah. And then, oh, I even bought specialty threads for this, and had a freebie that was supposed to go with them. And then there's some Just Cross Stitch. I don't have those here, but they also did Just Cross Stitch ornaments for several years when those started first coming out. This is Decorating the Town. I have the linen. I have some of the specialty threads already. Yeah, so it calls for gum nuts, which I don't think is available anymore, but I bought those. I think I even bought the glass bead. There's Mill Hill Petite glass beads. I think I even bought those. Why did I not start this? I don't know. Then there was this freebie called Christmas Eve that it was as a companion. I don't have a picture of that one, and it's not very good shape. It's an old. This is old enough that the newsletter from the shop that I got it from was printed like newspaper. So some of these are kind of old. So that's Brightneedle. And like I said, if you know anybody selling their new stuff, let me know. And I should probably just message them on Instagram because they have accounts on Instagram. And that's where I saw that they had put out some new stuff. So hopefully they are still doing that and that they'll be more widely available because I love their stuff. Very primitive, sort of sampler looking, even when they're not, even though they're not, like, sort of reproduction sampler style, but not actual reproductions. So I mentioned that I also have worked on some knitting and some spinning. So the knitting that I worked on, I'm using a sock yarn that I'll talk about in a second. So this is, oh shoot, I'm gonna forget the name of the designer. It's called The Hitchhiker. It was an extremely popular, it might still be, I don't know. It's like one of the most highly bought patterns, or was on Instagram, on Ravelry at one point. It was called The Hitchhiker, based on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and it's got these teeth. She calls these teeth. And there's 42 of them, which is a significant number in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I forgot what the significance is. But the yarn that I'm using is a Adorn sock by Three Irish Girls. I don't know if Three Irish Girls still exists. This color is called Kelly. This is would have been from maybe about 2008, 2009. So I don't even know if they still have this color in their repertoire, because the company's run by different people now. They bought out the original dyer. But I know they still exist, because I still get their emails. But, excuse me. But this is one of my favorite yarns for these little shawlettes like things. So this is going well. This is, I can't remember. Maybe this might be where I was the last time I showed this. So I used to knit a lot. In fact, I knit so much that I barely had time to stitch. When my crafty time was spent on knitting, but the last, I would say, well, since just before the pandemic started, I was having trouble with my right wrist, and I actually stitch left-handed now most of the time, using the sewing method. I used to actually stitch two-handed because I would mainly use a like you saw, this is on a frame, a scroll frame, or I would use a Q-snap and attach it in either my lap stand if it was a small piece, or my floor stand for a larger piece, and stitch two-handed most of the time, but definitely stab and stitch. So I have to be really, so I use the mouse a lot when I'm working, because I do everything on computer except when I'm standing in front of a classroom. And so I'm just real careful about my knitting now, that I don't knit too much at one time, so I don't bother my wrist again. It doesn't seem to be carpal tunnel. It's not, I don't have the symptoms of carpal tunnel. It gets sore. Maybe it's arthritis. I do have arthritis in both knees, and I've had some issues with arthritis in my hands when I was going through cancer treatment, which I've been cancer-free for, it'll be in December, it will be 2007 to 15 years since I was diagnosed, and by July of the following year, 2008, I was cancer-free. So far so good. So I can take a little arthritis in the hands. It's irritating. Well, I should say it was irritating at the time, but I gladly trade that for more years of life. One of the other things I've been working on this last month is a little spinning. So here's the spindle that I was using. I actually have quite a few spindles. I also have a wheel. But I've been mainly spinning when I've been here, so on my wheels in Brownsville. And this is, I don't have the tag here, but this, I know this is, this fiber is from Knitted Wit. She also does yarn. I don't know how much fiber she still does these days, but this is my spindle. I actually learned to spin first on a spindle and then was able, I tried learning on a wheel first, and it didn't work for me. And then I decided to try a spindle. And then I started collecting spindles. I seem to do that. I have a lot of fiber that I collected over the years too. So I need to get back into spinning some more. I've actually knitted with some of the things that I've spun. But anyway, so we're coming up on an hour, and I was going to talk about birds some more. I mentioned I'm in the bird club, and I was going to talk about some of the birds in the bird club, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and end this. Maybe next time I will talk about some of the birds that we've seen so far in the bird club as talking about a little science. As I said, my name is scienceknitster. I do like to talk about science sometimes. And early on, I would often end up talking about things related to COVID. So that got kind of boring, I think. But hopefully everybody's speaking of COVID, hopefully everybody's staying safe. And unfortunately, both here in what's called the Coastal Bend, where Corpus Christi is, and down in the lower Rio Grande Valley, where Brownsville is, my other home is, we are unfortunately back up to high transmission, according to the CDC. So I still wear a mask when I go out, just, to keep myself and the people I have to be with safe. But I hope you all are being able to get out and enjoy life and see family, and, just do what you need to do to keep each other safe. And as I like to end these videos, please take time to be kind to yourself and be kind to your neighbor. I hope to see you in a month. Bye-bye.